Would You Believe? Brought to you by 1-800-TERMINEX. No bugs, no hassles.
You're watching Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Now, these next two women are not your ordinary housekeepers. They clean up squad cars, condemned houses, and crime scenes that even hardened cops can't stomach.
Teresa Borst and Stacey Haney look like they're preparing for the end of the world. They've got gloves, protective suits, even gas masks. What Teresa and Stacey are actually preparing for is the gruesome aftermath of tragedy. A bloody murder scene, or the grisly sight of an accident or suicide. These best friends are housewives and mothers who lead a normal life in the Pacific Northwest. They play with their kids, they sew, they bake for their families. But what's unusual about these two is what they do when they're not at home.
Anyways, this gal called. She has a family member that committed suicide in the bathroom, and it was concealed to the bathtub.
Night after night, Teresa and Stacey face the stomach-turning chore of erasing all evidence of a horrific death. From scrubbing blood-spattered walls to cleaning up bits of body tissue which are scattered around a crime scene.
To see the relief on the family's face that they don't have to do it themselves is a great, great reward to both Stacey and I.
It didn't affect me as much as I would think it would, and so I knew then that this is something that I could do. It didn't bother me.
The inspiration for this unique career came in 1998 when the two homemakers took a class on crime scenes at the local police department.
I nudged Stacey and I said, "Who do you think cleans up after this?" So afterwards we went up and talked to the detective, and he said once he left the scene that it was up to the family.
The two women saw an opportunity to not only start a new business, but help others at the same time. And as morbid as it sounds, they can barely keep up with all the calls they get.
85% of them are suicides, 10% are unattended deaths, 3% are homicides, and 2% are police vehicles.
Slashing blood-stained mattresses, ripping up gore-splattered carpets, and digging into furniture that reeks of death is all part of the job. That's why Teresa and Stacey are fully immunized and tackle each job covered from head to toe in protective gear.
We have to wash and disinfect and deodorize. We actually have to strip the house. We have to take all the carpeting out, wash down inside cupboards, dishwashers, refrigerators. The duct work has to be clean throughout. We have to take out insulation underneath the flooring, sometimes the subflooring.
Their ability to calmly clean up rooms that have turned the stomachs of even veteran cops surprises their husbands, Pat and Ron.
When they're on the job, they kind of turn Jekyll and Hyde and become totally oblivious to it.
She's squirmish at home, very squirmish at home. You see a spider, and she'll take off running until you get rid of it.
Homicide detective Dennis Kilcoyne has seen hundreds of crime scenes over the past 11 years. He knows firsthand how valuable a service like this is, especially for grieving families.
After everything's been removed, the last thing I'm sure the families want to deal with, or the landlord in a lot of cases, is to go in and clean up, you know, blood-soaked carpeting, bedding, furniture, walls, ceilings.
And with every trace of the horrible memory erased,
We left it.
the renovation can begin.
When a job's all over and done with, we feel so satisfied, but the great reward comes in when we get our photo documentation back, because that's when we can see this is what it looked like before, this is what it looks like afterwards. Wow, what a great job done. The family's going to be really happy.
Ripley's world of unbelievable animals. At first glance, these goats seem ordinary, but they have a strange method of self-defense. When threatened, they simply fall over. If they are startled or surprised, their muscles lock up due to a genetic defense mechanism. The goats then collapse, giving the appearance of fainting. The goats aren't hurt by the stress.